We're turning to business news now with Giles Beckford. And Giles, there was a deluge of company reports today. What are the standouts?
Good evening to you, Rowan. Yes, we had 10 of them all together today. We were really swimming just to try and stay in one place. Amongst the bigger ones, power company Meridian, slight rise in profits, although most of its power is generated out of the South Island hydro lakes, which of course were low because of the dry winter. But it had insurance. It buys power from Genesis in those times. Therefore, it managed to preserve its earnings, and it also managed to actually give a bit of an increased dividend to its shareholders. EBOS, now you may not recognise the name, but it's a diversified group in pharmaceuticals, animal healthcare, health food supplements. If I said to you Red Seal and Animates Pet Centres, you'd guess who they are. They've grown phenomenally over the past 5 or so years. They've got a very good knack of buying businesses with good growth, good earnings, just bolting them on, and before you know it, they're adding considerably to profit. Profit was slower, a bit slower this year, the growth. Normally in the past it's been 15% plus. This year it's around 7%. It's a big group now, and therefore it's having to take a little bit long to digest things, but it too was rewarding its shareholders with improved earning, improved dividend payout. We should take a look at Trade Me. Everybody talks about how Amazon might come and eat their lunch. No sign of that yet. Their profits up by a quarter, reports of strong growth across all their divisions, although they're wondering about whether real estate will hold up going into the new year. NZ Refining, the people who run the Marsden Point refinery, you would think that they're a sunset industry, but they've just spent $300 million upgrading the refinery, and the chief executive there has a rather defiant tone to those who think that the electric cars are coming. He says, not in my lifetime probably. And for those investment funds wanting to quit carbon fuels and fossil fuels, he was saying, get real, the world still needs fuel, we'll be making it and selling it for quite some time. So those were some of the big ones. NZME, the people who publish the Herald and own a radio station, the radio network, their earnings pretty flat, but they're a changed business, having demerged from their parent last year. And all they're saying really is, we would really love to get into bed with Fairfax Media. We'll have to wait for a High Court fixture on that one.
Yeah, busy day, Giles, and on top of all those earnings, there were some annual meetings today as well.
They were indeed. The annual meetings are always an interesting affair. Everybody thinks they're quite boring and they're just peopled by people, with old people who go there for the tea and the cakes. But you actually get some real nuggets out of them. 3 of them in particular today. Fisher & Paykel Healthcare, our leading manufacturing company, it says that the stronger New Zealand dollar is hurting its earnings just a wee bit, some headwinds there. So it's expecting lower earnings in the coming year. Metro Performance Glass, a quiet performer, but it's the country's biggest glass maker, big in the construction industry, but it's reporting soft conditions, soft trading conditions. It got thumped by around 10% today. And also Infratil. Now they're boring, they're into utilities and infrastructure. Interesting from them though, comments about their New Zealand bus operation. They're saying the way that public transport is being funded these days, which is emphasis on low cost, will mean that the change into electric vehicles to battery driven buses is going to be delayed. They just can't afford to do it, they're not economic. So there's an interesting aspect on that one.
Absolutely, and just finally, Giles, what has happened on the markets today?
For all that, the top 50 index shares down 11 points at 7868. The New Zealand dollar still on the soft side at 72.2 US cents and 91.4 Australian.
Thanks very much. That was Giles Beckford with the business news there.